Hi, this is my fourth podcast, and this is how I found out I had ears, and that wasn't just a silly thing in the family, but it really meant something. This is Mary's Road Stories for Connections. Okay, I'd gotten a part-time job hanging around with the guy who ran Vauxhall Music, which did all the PA in Bakersfield. And I was at a Ray Charles event. It was one of two concerts he was putting on in Bakersfield that weekend, and this was the one at the big hall. So I went out into the county hall, and Ray Charles is there with his band, and he starts playing, and oh my God, someone hit one. It was bad. And I went, ouch, and realized I'd said it out loud. Mm-hmm. You don't do that during rehearsals. And Ray Charles, who said that? Well, I had to be honest. I did, Mr. Charles, I'm sorry. Oh, who are you? Oh, I'm with the sound company. My name's Mary Mason. Come over here, I want to meet you. Well, yeah, the voice was obviously young and female, and this was Ray Charles. He wanted to meet me, he did. Oh, his hand went up the arm, and it started across the chest and up the face. Oh, yeah, he wasn't that blind, but he wanted to meet me. And I just twisted out because I knew that old routine. I said, you know better than that. And he laughed. He knew better than that. He was, you could call him on it, and he was always fair. I discovered that day. And he said, why'd you do? I said, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have spoken up, but one of your horn players really hit the wrong note, and it hurt. And he said, damn right it hurts. He said, see, even a young girl sitting out in the audience, she could. And he was jumping on the guy for hitting the bad note. And he said, well, you just sit here and you tell me if anyone else hits that kind of bad note. Well, he had perfect pitch. He didn't need no, but he wanted to prove to them that even a girl in a hick town like Bakersfield could hear enough since he fined his people real money for hitting clinkers in the show. And he jumped on him during rehearsals if he hit one there, bad enough. He didn't do it often. And sure enough, there wasn't one really sour note hit the rest of that rehearsal or during the performance. But during the break in between sets and standing around, and he said, so, how long you been around? And I said, oh, well, I've got cousins in the business, second cousin Ziggy Elman. He said, Ziggy Elman, the trumpet player. Yeah, you know my cousin? Yeah, I know your cousin. And Ray Charles, I later figured out when I was older, had used my cousin's legal standing and legal cases he'd been involved in to defend his own compositions and earn the rights to his own music back. So yeah, as I found out later, he really did know my cousin. And he said, well, I guess you can hear. I said, well, yeah, my cousin always said I had ears. He said, yeah, he should know what he was talking about. And he wandered off to do something else. I didn't think that much of it. And it wasn't until I was much older that I really appreciated how much of a special person Ray Charles was. He had pretty much perfect pitch. He could have a 30-piece band and hear the one band that was a quarter tone off. And he'd call them, he'd nail them. He could hear a singer who just got a little relaxed and let her tone drift a little. She got called on it. He demanded as close to perfection as humans could usually reach. And as a result, there's this record, What I Say. Everybody knows What I Say. Man, that's a huge hit. Well, what all the people don't necessarily know is that that isn't a song. What it was they had some leftover time at the end of a recording session, and they needed about 2.5 minutes. And Ray Charles told his singers, repeat after me. Guys, repeat what I play. Women, if I sing something, repeat what I say. Whatever it is, just do it, okay? We'll run out the time. He did What I Say. And that was fun. He didn't think it was any big deal. Matter of fact, he ran over. He did almost 5 minutes of it. He said, oh yeah, cut what you can use out of it. Well, it got released as What I'd Say, side 1 and side 2 on the 45. Hit the Billboard Top 10 charts. And he had to go and learn it off the record. He was just goofing off, and here it was. He had to learn his own song. And I think in part of protest of having to learn his own song of all the silly things, he never ever played that the same way twice. Any concert you went to, he'd add some verses, he'd take out some, he'd change things around. He always did it as a full-fledged improv. But that's all it ever was. Ears. At the end of that day, Ray Charles came up and told me, hey, kid, your cousin's right, you got ears. And I said, really? I said, I mean, it doesn't seem different than, my mom. He said, yeah, and your mom's professional, right? And I said, well, yeah, she used to sing professionally and dance. And he said, yeah, honey, you got them if you ever want to use them. Well, I went and did a lot of other things, got a psych degree, became a science fiction writer, became a mother, and yeah, eventually I got around to using my ears. From Ray Charles, my cousin, and family lore. These are Mary's Road Stories, brought to you by Connections. Hope to see you next time.